Good afternoon. Just getting the last couple of things ready before I start my roll this afternoon. Boy, I gotta get back on my medication for hay fever. Well, this day is starting to get to me. Alright, we got us here a nice Louisville Fed wrapped roll. Go ahead and start opening it up here. Where's my nameplates? Here they are. Here's my name tips for this particular roll opening. This one's going to be one of the slightly easier American style, what do they call it, Brantley wrappers. These Brantley wrappers are usually a little bit on the loose side. I chose this particular roll because it is an older brown paper or brown pink paper wrapper, and it's not one of the typical white with light blue wrappers I've been getting and opening recently. I thought maybe we might have better luck with this one for RPMs or possibly even a double die. Hello everybody. Oh, we got Paul Hampton, Eric Byer, Joe McBride, Andy Dinners. Never seen you, Andy Dinners. Welcome to the show. Let's see, we got Randy, Jessica, Adam, Kale, Paula Bloom. Hello, Paula Bloom. We got Wild Bill here. Jonathan Cuff. We got Jonathan Cuff in on this roll. It's the first one he's been in on. In fact, this will be the first roll for a number of people, because if you'll remember correctly, on Tuesday evening when I announced this particular roll, I said the only people who can get in on this one were people who did not get in on any of my other rolls that evening. As it turns out, probably a fourth of the people in on this roll are new to the CRH process. So I will go over it. I've got all of the names of all the 50 people who purchased in on this roll right here. And I do have a couple who have not yet paid, so those coins will remain with the house. Then I've got the roll that I just opened in front of you. So you watch me pry the roll open here. And then I've got 50 inserts inside of these 50 flips right here, ready to put the coins in their place. So the way I do it is I've got my bag. Where did my bag? There's my bag. Got my bag. And I'm going to put the 50 names inside the bag. Now I'm going to pull a name out. And that's going to tell me who gets the first coin in the roll. This is going to be Bulldog. Bulldog will get this coin. Let's see what we've got. Coin number 1. And we're going to be looking for some minor double die obverses that show up in the motto. We're going to be looking for the possibility of a minor double die obverse that will show up in the date, and we have a few RPMs. That I know of, we have nothing with regard to any transitional reverses or other double die reverses or anything else. But 1973 is a one-year type when it comes to the reverse design, because the initials are so tall. If the initials are as tall as the bottom of the base of the building, then you have a normal 1973. If they are any shorter than that, then you have something that has never yet been discovered, because I've been looking since 1973 for a reverse design of 1972 or 74, which have much smaller initials. And so that's what we're after here. We may end up with 50 normal 1973 D Lincoln cents, but in that case, we're at least going to have a good time together, searching for and trying to find anything outside the normal. Coin Dragon. Hey, there's Blue Sandy. Blue Sandy gets this one. This will be Blue Sandy's coin. And I don't yet see anything outside the ordinary on this one. Very bright coins. Very bright, nice, uncirculated coins with no spots. So as soon as I said that, I saw a spot. With no big spots. Okay. They look like nice coins. It's a nice roll. Nice full strikes. Doing well, Jeremy. How about yourself, sir? All right, let me get coin number 2 here. And it's insert. Blue Sandy on there. And we move on to the next one. We do have an auction list for this Sunday. Don't forget that we have an auction coming up on Sunday at 3 o'clock Central Time. Yes, 3 o'clock Central Time for those who would be interested in looking for some really nice varieties. Jessica's got a list out. You can go through that list and take a look at what you might need or what you might like to bid on. We've got a lot of nice ones in there. We've got Sunday's auction, and then this coming Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have another big auction. It's not going to be a box sale, not this time. We're going to do singles this time. It's going to be a singles auction with reveals to follow. I used to like Nintendo back in the day. Back when I actually played video games up until I was about, I'd say about 25 years old. That was back when Nintendo was just really simple. It was kind of like a Mario Brothers thing, and that was about it. I think Super Mario Brothers was the game of choice at that point in time. Looking for anything that I can find that's outside the ordinary for us to discuss. Gus. Haven't found anything outside the ordinary yet. Jim Fletcher. Jim Fletcher gets the next coin. I did find something of, well, it's a special note. It's a very, very minor double die, but it was a very special note that I found this coin the other day. It is the only listed double die reverse for 1971 S. And it is on a proof coin, and it only shows in the designer's initials, and it's a very close spread doubling, but it's definitely there. And it's the only listed double die reverse for 1971 S. I think it's kind of cute. But I only found one of them. Adam Chambers. Adam Chambers pick up coin number 6 in the roll here. I have been duly informed that as soon as I am finished with this roll, I am to end the broadcast and take off because the wife wants to take off early from work and she wants to go grocery shopping. She wants me to go with her. So we're going to go to the wholesale place and get ourselves stocked up on supplies again. It seems that $400 is not enough to feed 3 people for 2 months. So we'll have to go back. I'm not much looking forward to the result of the trip. Well, I am looking forward to the result. I'm looking forward to the trip itself, but I'm not looking forward to where we're going. Not looking forward to it. Kale is one of our new people here. This is Kale's second coin in this roll. There's some really nice 1973D repunch mint marks that could be found. So this roll wasn't for naught. We opened it just in case there might be some goodies in here. I remember when dealer bid price was just above 50 cents for a roll of 1963s. I remember that day. I bought a big deal from a dealer one time, and it had probably 75 rolls. And in those were some 1963 D rolls, or 63 Philadelphia rolls. They bid at 54 cents at the time. And he told me to write down the bid value of everything, so I did. And when he got to that, he was like, I can't sell you these at 54 cents. I said, just charge me 75 cents for them. He said, okay. So he charged me 75 cents for them. I don't think anybody pays bid for those. Everybody always pays a little bit above bid for that, because, I mean, that stuff, there's some value in having an uncirculated, undisturbed roll of pennies that's 50 years old, or now almost 60 years old. Hey, Sherm Monster. The Sherm has decided to come in and pay us a visit. Blue Sandy. This was back in a day when 1956 through 58 rolls were $2. And 1970S rolls were $1.30. And oddly enough, 1965 rolls were $3.50, and 1966 rolls were $2. Now the 66 rolls are $3, $4, and the 65 rolls are $2. They've switched values. I should publish some of these pictures someday that I've got of bid sheets from back in the 60s and 70s and show you guys what a dance the rolls have taken over the years. Some of the different BU rolls have gone way up in value and then way back down in value. Some of them have rested on the bottom for a long time as bottom feeder rolls, and they're finally going up now. That's just a little bit of machine doubling there on the top of the mint mark. I could tell because that machine doubling transfers over to the top of the 9 and 7 in the date, a little bit on the 3. And anytime you have doubling on the mint mark on coins this old, you look at the date, and if you've got the same corresponding doubling on the date, you definitely have something created during the strike, and it's not something that was on the die. So if it was created during the strike, it's called machine doubling. Machine doubling is very common and has very little value, if any. Most of the time, it has no premium value at all. Uncirculated bicentennial quarters are still pretty common. You face value on a roll is $10. You can still find them for about $25, $30 a roll. So they're not very expensive. Now, if my grandma had a roll of pennies that was given to her when she was a little kid, we'd be tearing the house apart looking for them. We'd be talking about 1931, 1932. That'd be pretty far back there. Of course, my grandma's been gone for 20 years now. And she was the last one of the 4 to go. Yeah, a lot of people remember what they were doing on their birthday in the year 2000. I remember what I was doing on my birthday in the year 2000. I was burying my grandmother. You got a little hairy something stuck inside this flip insert. Looks like a piece of pencil eraser or something stuck down in there, but I don't even use pencil erasers. That's odd. Okay, we'll move on. No more obsessing, Chuck. Jonathan Cuff. Jonathan Cuff gets one out of here. Jonathan Cuff got, I think, 4 or 5 coins in this roll. We'll take our chances and see what we can find for Jonathan here. I've got daylight showing in from the right side of the screen. That's what you're wondering. That extra little flash of light is coming from the bottom right of your screen. That's actually daylight coming in from outside. It's very bright outside, and I've opened up the windows. It's a very nice sunny day here. in beautiful Cary, North Carolina. Okay, Jonathan Cuff got 4. Well, that's the first one. It's a nice uncirculated 1973 Lincoln Cent. Nothing more than that, unfortunately, this time around. You bought your house in 2000, Coin Dragon? I bought one in 98. And then I bought another one in 2004. I rented in between because we moved cross country. And I didn't want to buy a house in a place that was yet unsettled. I didn't know what would be around it. Anytime you're in the middle of a township area and you buy a house that's right next to a woods, you got to watch what you're doing, because they might just put a water treatment plant right behind your house or something. So as it turns out, we waited until we found a place that was already in an established area and there was no way they could build around us. I bought a house and I thought that's where I was going to settle. 2 years later, the wife took a job across the state and we had to move. Where did I live before moving to North Carolina? I lived in, well, let's see. When I started Copper Coins back in 1999, I lived in Springfield, Missouri. I had just moved there from Oklahoma City after getting out of the Air Force. And Springfield, Missouri was a place where my family is from, and it's where everybody except me lives. Then in 2008, 2007, late 2007, early 2008, I took a job in Sarasota, Florida, and packed my stuff and moved south. And a contract dispute in 2009 had me back in Missouri for 2 years until the contract dispute was worked out, and I moved back to Florida again. We stayed in Florida. We stayed in the Bradenton, Sarasota area of Florida until 2018, when my wife got a job over in southeast Florida. So we moved over to Lake Worth, Delray Beach area. We lived in Lake Worth, Delray Beach until we moved to North Carolina last September. Dennis Paulson will get the next one. It's coin number 15. There you go. Thank you for your service, Jonathan. I graduated high school in 1986 and went straight into the U.S. Air Force. I spent 10 years in the U.S. Air Force. I got out of the Air Force working in the same basic profession that I had during my Air Force career, which was in mainframe computers. Hey, Marshall. Haven't seen you in a while. These are pretty coins. This one's not completely struck up. It's got a little bit of a weak strike, but a lot of them tend to be pretty strong strikes. Joe, yes. What had started out as Missouri State Women's College and then went to a nursing college and then turned to Southwest Missouri State University is now called Missouri State University and is in Springfield, Missouri. It's where I obtained part of my formal education. And I was also hired there to do teaching, computer programming, as an adjunct in the evenings for evening classes, like continuing education classes. I had fun doing that. I can remember as I got started on that, and I got one of those really nice Swatch watches. It's the kind that you just kind of shake back and forth and it winds it. Well, for some reason the winder wasn't working right, so my watch had quit. And so I looked at the watch right after I got into class, and it was just time for me to start the class. So I started the class. We were going along, and all of a sudden I noticed, we had a hour-long class, and we took a break in the middle of the hour-long class, a 10-minute break to go use the restroom, get some water, make a phone call, whatever you need to do. And I looked down at my watch thinking, we're getting pretty close to break time, and only 10 minutes had passed. I was like, okay, well, we'll just keep going. And so I just kept going and kept doing my example on the board up front and talking about the matter at hand. And eventually someone stopped me and said, are we going to take a break? I said, well, yeah, as soon as it becomes 8:30, we'll take a break. It was 8:42 now. Oh, well, my watch was way behind. It was running very slow. And so I ended up having to use someone else's watch for the remainder of the class, because back then we didn't have cell phones that had time displayed on them. It wasn't like that. It was fun, though. Had a great time in those classes. Meeting new people. A lot of them were educators for the university. And eventually, most of the budget ran out for doing that sort of teaching in the university, because they, like other universities, were claiming that they were running out of money. So they put the axe in the program and shut the building down. And I lost that part-time job. I didn't make a lot of money at it, but it was fun to do. The O from of on the reverse of the Memorial Lincoln Cent is in lowercase because the designer, Frank Gasparo, decided he liked it that way. And that honestly is the reason for it. He just wanted to make it that way, so he did. Artistic license. There are a number of things that are done a certain way. And I'm at that right there. And it's done that way simply because, if you'll notice, the F is also smaller than the other letters. It's not as tall as the other letters. And he did it that way just because that's the way he wanted to do it. He also did not even attempt to include the state names between the scrollwork on the cornice. On the actual building, there are names of states going all the way around at the cornice. You can see that in the $5 bill. He didn't even try to do that for the cent design because it's so small. There are certain details you just have to cut out when you get smaller and smaller. Hawkeye. Hawkeye is next. Let's see if I can produce anything of even nominal value in this. I'll let you guys know for sure. Tim Crowell, I just sent reminders through email of invoice payment to the people who have not yet paid their invoices. If you did not receive an email, you're probably all paid up. There are a few people in this role who have not paid their bill yet. There are at least two that I noticed. Robert Adams is next. Robert Adams, Cuds Are Us, has a group right here on Facebook. Well, it isn't here on Facebook because we're on YouTube. He has a group on Facebook that caters to the interest of collecting cuds on coins. I have been through millions of coins in my numismatic experience and have found a grand total of 2 cuds. They are not common at all. Don't know if I was just looking in the wrong place or if I was looking in the right place and just realized that they are extremely difficult to pick out of change. Farm Dog, this roll is a roll that I reserved only to people who had not been in on any other rolls that day. And then at the end, I was going to offer spots to anyone. And lo and behold, the only people who had spots in the roll are people who were not in any of the other rolls done that day. And I'm not going to check during the show to see if you're paid up, but I did send reminders no more than a half an hour ago out to everyone who had not paid their invoice. So you should check your email. If you check your email and you find a reminder in your email, that means you've not paid. If you don't find a reminder in your email, then you have probably paid up and you're fine. That's exactly right, Tim. That's exactly right. I don't like you because you ask questions. Yeah, Sherman's a vicious animal, I tell you what. If you have a pull rope in your hand, you have one of his toys in your hand, or if you have windshield wipers in your hand. I don't know, Joe. I do not know why people suddenly stopped receiving emails to pay their invoices. I have no idea why that happened. I think PayPal has changed some of how they operate, and that may be part of that change, but I did not get the memo on that. So I don't know what PayPal is doing, and I don't know why they're doing it. But here's the bottom line. If you come to one of the auctions, hey, look at that. Got a nice little die subsidence error going on here. If we have an auction and you bid on stuff, you can expect by the end of the next day you're going to have an invoice. If you don't get an invoice by the end of the next day, send me a quick email and let me know you never got your invoice so I can look into it for you. That way we'll know that we had a disconnect in the way of paying. But if you just sit and wait, I'm not going to know that you didn't get your invoice because I sent it to you. And if you didn't pay it, I'm just going to consider that an unpaid invoice and move on that way. But if you try to get a hold of me, not during the show, and try to get a hold of me and get me to a point where I can actually check the email and check the account and see what's going on, and I can send you a link to the invoice through email, which PayPal likes to call a reminder. That if I can send you a link to the invoice through PayPal so you can pay it, then we've got it all taken care of and everybody's fine. And Adam Chambers comes out with coin number 26. We're past halfway through the roll now, and we've not found anything. No RPMs, no double dies, nothing yet. But we're going to give it a chance. I've been 30 coins deep before I found anything. Good afternoon, Arizona Coins. I'm going to assume that the AZ part does stand for Arizona, correct? I don't know what PayPal has been doing lately. They've been doing something that's not very good because their functionality has gone down a few times for a period of time. Okay, so I could just call you Arizona Coins then. I'll do that. Here's another new person. Mr. Sheeks. Mr. Sheeks is a new person to our roles. Best place to notify me if you don't receive an invoice is to send a direct email straight to me at cd@coppercoins.com. cd@coppercoins.com. Send me an email. Let me know that something's wrong. You haven't received your invoice. Do not do it the first thing Wednesday morning after the auction. Sometimes I don't get invoices out until Wednesday morning. Wait until Thursday morning. It's not a big deal. Wait until Thursday to send me an email. Let me know that you haven't seen your invoice yet and you're wondering where it is. Because then the first thing that happens is we have the auction Tuesday evening. I get tired and go to bed. Get up Wednesday morning and have to answer 14 emails as to why they didn't get an invoice the night before. I know you didn't get an invoice. I haven't sent them yet. But if by Thursday you haven't received an invoice, then there's a problem. If you haven't seen your invoice by Thursday morning, there's a problem. Either that or you'll need to just log straight into your PayPal account and take a look for it there. You can ask me to send you a reminder, and I will send you a reminder. I don't like the reminder part, though. That reminder part just makes it seem like I'm calling you irresponsible. That's not my point. My point is just trying to get that link in front of you again, just in case you didn't see it the first time, or you were unable to use it the first time. We're going to give it another shot and see what happens. That's what I mean by that. All right, Fox Run gets another coin here. This is Fox Run's first roll as well. I had to flip my microscope light off. Here's something over there running. Not paying very good attention to what's going on around me right now. I have my microscope light on for, 30 minutes of a show. Sunday's auctions are going to come straight to you from Iowa. It's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Central Time. And it's going to be a good one. Got lots of nice varieties for you to add to your collections. And then Tuesday I'll have some varieties and some toners and some early Lincolns. They're just going to be a singles palooza, let's call it. And then I'm going to be doing reveals. Be selling reveals for this next week. There's going to be, I believe, 8 or 9 of them this coming week. Yeah, I saw you trying to call, Hawkeye. Couldn't answer the phone. I was in the middle of getting ready for this. I received... It never fails. I can go the entire day and not receive any phone calls until I'm busy. And then I can't pick up the phone. Go all day, get 0 phone calls. And then when I'm preparing for or doing a broadcast, I get 3, 4, 5 phone calls. All right, we're to coin number 30 now. Coin number 30, I'll go to Dennis Paulson. Right, Eric. We've noticed that tends to be an issue with PayPal right now. I'm not really sure what's causing that. But that's why I sent the emails out today, so that everyone would be sure and have a link that actually works. If you've gone into your PayPal account and discovered that you cannot pay the invoice, it's probably a common, typical problem that they're having right now. But if you follow a link through an email to the invoice to pay the invoice, it will work. This tends to be some sort of a bug that PayPal is having right now. Good price to pay for an original bank wrap 1943 S roll. Yeah, I think we're talking something that's going to be in the neighborhood of $250 to $300. As soon as I get done here, I'm going to be on the road to Raleigh. Not that I really want to go anywhere, but we do have to eat, and the only way to eat is to go get the food. So we're going to be going shopping as soon as I get done here. So I'm going to be off for the remainder of the day today. Here you go, Hawkeye. Here's one for you. Coin number 32. This one has a spot on it. Spot right there. I am not finding any die varieties in this roll. So far, anyway. Haven't found anything. What's up, Robert? Haven't found anything in this roll yet. I did pick up one of your coins earlier in the roll. Told everybody about your Facebook group. Talked about how CUDs tend to be far less common than RPMs and double dies. And I can tell you why I think that is. Well, RPMs and double dies are on the die from the time the die is created. So before it's even hung to make coins, it already has the anomaly on it. A CUD is something that develops on the die through breakage as the die is used. So the die becomes weak and brittle and starts to fall apart, and then a piece breaks off the edge of the die, and then you've got a CUD. Well, you could have minted 500,000 coins before you developed that CUD. And CUDs R Us is a place that chronicles all of the different CUDs on US coins. You can go to CUDs R Us, just search for CUDs in Facebook, or you can find CUDs R Us here in the chat. And you can click the 3 little dots and subscribe to his online channel here on YouTube. And he can post a link for you to get into the Facebook group for CUDs R Us. And that's our very own Robert Adams. Guess whose name I just pulled out of the hat for coin number 34? It would be Robert Adams. Hello, Mr. Harmon. I hope you are doing well today. For those of you who may not have heard it, Starbuck came in to the reveal yesterday evening and told us that he was back home and that he had some health issues with regard to a defibrillator and pacemaker. They made their adjustments, and he's okay for the time being, but he's back home now. You're probably talking about Tim Crowell. You're probably either talking about a circulated roll of 1943 S, or you're talking about an uncirculated roll of 1943 Philadelphia. But to get a 1943 S uncirculated original roll for anything under $250, I'd be standing in line for one. And it's like I mentioned it earlier. Robert wasn't here at the time. I've been through millions of coins in my time, and I have yet to find my third CUD. I have found 2 CUDs the entire time I've been dealing in coins. I don't remember right offhand what they are, but I found them. 2 of them total. Kale. First time roll hunter. With us anyway. Some of these people are just now finding us. They've been doing Lincoln Cent rolls for 10, 20, 30 years. But they're just finding us, so they're just becoming a part of the family here. You've only found rim cuds? Yeah, there's one particular rim cud I would love to find. 1972 with rim cuds on the left extremity of the rim between 9 and 10 o'clock. That means you need to hop right up and check that motto real quick and real close. Because you could have double die obverse number 4. Very, very valuable. Talking about in the thousands of dollars for one that's a nice red BU. Jonathan Cuff, here's your next coin. It's coin number 37. It looks like we're going to turn out with a normal 1973 D roll here. We're not going to, likely not going to find anything of any market value in here. I've been through rolls before and found really good stuff, and I've been through rolls before and found squat pretty much. So I've got a question to ask you guys. Everybody who's here right now, I'll accept a vote from anyone who's here. I want you to vote with a number. Now here are your choices. Your choices are this. When I go through a 50 coin roll, typically the two end coins on a shotgun roll are not going to be as nice as the 48 coins between them. So I want you to tell me whether or not you would prefer that I take those two spots off of the roll and only sell 48 coins, or do you want me to sell all 50 coins and whoever gets the end coins is whoever gets the end coins? So vote with a number, either 48 or 50. Tell me if you want me to sell 48 spots and keep the two end coins, or if you want me to sell 50 coins and just sell the entire roll out. You can vote with a number now. I'm watching for you. Yeah, Dennis says all 50. Jessica says all 50. Eric Bayer says all 50. Deanne, Farm Dog, all you say all 50. We'd have to have a lot of votes for 48 now for me to change my mind on that. Hey, there's Starbuck. Hope you're doing great, buddy. There's 50. 50 for Joe McBride. 50 for Adam Chambers. 48 for Jonathan Cuff. Well, and it could be fair for everyone. See, Jonathan, the thing is your end coin might be beautifully toned, and it might be the only double die in the entire roll. You never know what you're going to turn out with. I really never know what you're going to get. I don't look through these rolls before I do them. At all. So Fox Run Forge says 50. Donald Harmon says 50. Blockhead says 50. Blockhead, you need to get yourself involved in a roll here once in a while. I see ya. Don't remember ever sending a bill to you. Some of these rolls can have really valuable coins in them, and they could be nice and fun to go through, too. Techstar says 50. Okay, so then I will continue to sell the entire roll, all 50 coins. Because I was kind of unsure as to what direction you guys would want me to go with that. I had actually started making my planning sheets with 48 coins instead of 50 because I thought that I would get a pretty much all-around vote of 48 and not 50. So the 50 surprises me just a little bit. But I do appreciate it. A roll is a roll, is a roll. And they generally always contain 50 coins. I've run into rolls that did not contain 50 coins. Here's Mr. Sheiks again. Once again, first roll for Mr. Sheiks. And this coin does not appear really any different than any of the others that I found in this roll. It's a nice red uncirculated coin with a few little contact marks here and there. This one's got a die crack running right through the lower field. Pretty much normal coins all the way through the roll. Been watching that initials on the reverse. I've been doing that since I was a kid. I realized the 1973s were different than the other years when I was pretty young. And I don't know what prompted me to start watching for that, but I did. Because I figured, well, I had to mess up sometime, right? I mean, they're messing up, making error coins and stuff like that. So I'll say it once again for the people who joined us late. If you have initials like this that are just as tall as the base of the memorial building, then they are a normal 1973. If you get anything else, you could have a type of 1972 or 74 on your reverse, and it would be an extremely valuable coin because they have not yet been discovered. They are not yet known to exist. No one has ever found one. Gives you all that much more of a challenge to go out and look, right? Alright, we're on coin number 42 now. Coin number 42 will go to Mr. Sheeks. Coin number 42 will go to Mr. Sheeks. So I have these little issues where once in a while I run into a box of coins that I put away some 10, 15, 20 years ago and had since forgotten that I had. I just found this morning a box of BU wheat cents that every coin in the box is a really nice die variety. And so over the next coming few weeks I'm going to be pulling some of those out, making them available because they've been sitting in boxes for a long time. That circle of death will kill you every time on the end rolls. On the end roll coins. They do come up from time to time. They're not always there, but there's always a chance that they're there. And they will only show on the coins on the very end of the roll. And that's what happens when the end of the roll is pressed up against the crimping machine with a little bit too much force. And the crimping machine, spinning as it does, spins and comes in contact with the coin at the end of the roll and puts a circular scrape mark on the coin. That's what those circle of death, that's what those are. They only happened at the end of the roll. What roll would that be, Jonathan Cuff? Are you talking about the box that I opened that had a number of varieties in it? That's not a roll. That's just a bunch of coins. Star Brother anytime. We care about our family. That's for sure. And you guys are indeed my family. All of you guys are my family. Any of you guys turn up with a problem that we can talk about to help you, or that we can at least care about you, if we can't really do anything for you, we do want to know. Because this has become just like a family. Good morning, Sissy. Or good afternoon, depending on what part of our great country you are in right now. Nothing at all, Fox Run Forge. Nothing at all. Been by your name a couple of times and just haven't found anything in this roll. There it is. Boom, right there. I don't know how I do that. I reach in a bag and I'm not even looking and I pull your name out. And there's only 4 spots left in the bag now. So this is 5th from the end of the roll. Not finding anything of value in here. Just 1973 Lincoln cents. I'm looking careful enough that I should catch anything that comes out of here that isn't normal. And with 73, there were a lot of coins minted in 1973 in Denver. And there were a lot of nice double die, or nice repunch mint marks minted then. And with the repunch mint marks that were minted then, look at that. There's your name again. 2 coins in a row. With all the coins that were minted, then they used a whole bunch of dies. And so there are a few nice double mint marks, so a few nice repunch mint marks, but there's a whole sea of normal coins to look through to find those little pebbles. Past Little Rock. Past Little Rock toward Oklahoma or toward Memphis? I need to know whether or not you should wave to Conway for me or wave to Batesville for me. Unless you're going north or south. Probably on I-40. Jim Fletcher. Jim Fletcher gets coin number 48. There's only 3 left in the roll, and this is one of them. Going toward Oklahoma. So you're going through Russellville. You're going to have the Arkansas River over to your left. You're in Conway now, so say hi to Conway for me. As you go on over toward Russellville, you'll see a nuclear power plant over on the left-hand side. And eventually you'll go through the Fort Smith Van Buren area. I have a dealer friend in Fort Smith. I just mailed him a couple of rolls of pennies a few days ago. You're in Springfield today? Well, you have probably rubbed elbows in one way or another with members of my family. I have a lot of family there. All right, Jonathan Cuff gets coin number 49 in the roll, and I see a spot on his collar. Right there is a little rub spot on his collar. And nothing special with this particular coin. And I remember another time as I was going into Oklahoma. My father had lived in Memphis at that time. And we were stationed in Oklahoma City. And we drove across. It was winter time. We drove across to Memphis to visit with my dad. And they had a winter storm. We were headed back toward Oklahoma. Right about the time we got to Stillwell, which is, I don't know, maybe 50 miles inside of Oklahoma, the roads started getting icy. Oh, I tell you what, it was glazed ice on the roads. It was horrible. Here's a Roland coin. Roland coin has a little bit of nice color, and it's kind of like a marbled mess of color. It's pretty, though. It's nice. There's nothing special on it. This one goes to Bulldog, though. And we got through, see, there's the part of the rubber wheel. So this coin was sitting, waiting for them to start the counter again. So this was the first coin in the roll because of all that rubber buildup on the coin. And by the time we got to Oklahoma City, as we were driving across, it was in the nighttime, and it was slick, bad slick. We were 20 miles an hour on the interstate. By the time we got to Oklahoma City, we had seen about a dozen jackknife trucks. It was a bad night. All right, folks. Well, I guess that's going to be it. I'm going to return you to your regularly scheduled programming. This has been a special report from Copper Coins and 1973 D-roll. And we actually didn't get anything out of other than a 1973 D-roll, which, not the desired effect, but it happens. I appreciate you folks. Thank you very much. I do have the 1949 S roll coming up at 9 p.m. tonight. 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be doing this original 1949 S roll. You do not want to miss it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So you guys have a great afternoon. And Sissy, have a great time driving into Oklahoma. And I'll talk to you folks later.